Are now going live on YouTube. Good afternoon. I am Jessica Carroll, the Interim Program Manager for Measure 110, and I'll be assisting Dharma with facilitation for today's meeting. The Oversight and Accountability Council welcomes and encourages community input. Members of the public are invited to submit public comments or get on our interested parties email list by emailing oha.measure110@odhsoha.oregon.gov. That email address and more information about the council can be found on the Measure 110 OAC website. For more information or support with community engagement, please contact Sydney McConnell. She will drop her information in the chat. OAC members have asked that OHA and other staff who are present in the meeting space introduce themselves in the chat. Please share your role with the agency, and if you are a subject matter expert, your area of expertise. And with that, I will pass it over to Dharma.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dharma, the Tri-Chair. Thank you for joining us today. On our agenda for the day, we have the tribal set-aside discussion and vote happening first, and then we have a couple of supported employment options for Klamath County that we wanted to discuss with you all and vote on those as well, and then some OHA updates. But I'll pass it over to Cindy to do attendance.
Hello, everyone. When I call your name, if you could please stay here, we'd appreciate it. First up is Amy.
I'm here.
Hi, Amy. Carlos.
Here.
Carlos. Caroline.
Here.
Hi, Caroline. Dharma.
Here.
Hi, Dharma. Hubert.
Here.
Hi, Hubert. Hunter.
Here.
Hi, Hunter. Jackie. I see you
Here.
waving, Jackie. Hi, Jackie.
Hey.
Keisha.
Here.
Hi, Keisha. Leticia.
I'm here.
Hi, Leticia. Linda. I did not see her, but did she sneak in? No, Linda. Yep. Melinda.
Here.
Hi, Melinda. Morgan.
Here.
Hi, Morgan. Nicole.
Nicole said she's here in the chat. I don't know if you can see it.
Okay, thank you. Onisha.
Here.
Hi, Onisha. Ron.
Here.
Hi, Ron. Ryan.
Here.
Hi, Ryan. Sabrina did let us know she would not be here today. Zeb.
I'm here. Thank you.
Hi, Zeb. Thank you. Tori.
Present.
Hi, Tori. And I do not see Ebony, but that's okay. We're at 17. Back to you, Dharma.
Thank you, folks, for being here. Up next, I'm going to pass it off to our presenter for the discussion on the tribal set aside and vote. But first, to pass it off to Jessica for a call for conflicts of interest.
Yeah, so thanks, Jello. Because this is going to be a vote before we enter into discussion and vote, we're going to call for conflicts of interest. If you would like to declare a potential conflict of interest or an actual conflict of interest, please do so now. You can raise your hand. Please, when you do declare your conflict, please state whether it is a potential or actual and the nature of the conflict. Oh, Jackie.
Hi, I think I'm going back and forth between which level of conflict, but I think I have a potential conflict because, when the tribal set aside happens, NARA is often included by the tribes in that after the fact. So it seems like it'd be better if I didn't vote.
Okay. Okay, thank you. We will note that.
Sorry, Caroline.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. Okay. Any others? Carolyn Cruz.
So Jackie, give me more information, because are we voting on Klamath County?
Oh.
No,
First we're voting on the tribal set aside.
oh, the tribal set aside.
Yes.
Hi, Chihuahua and half in the bird and the bee. Jackie, I don't think you're not being paid by, I'm not getting paid, and Warren Springs is a tribe. I'm supposed to be representing the tribes, so I'm not gonna step aside because this is too important. I'm not benefiting, me personally. I'm not employed by these funds, nor are you.
Right.
So I don't think, that's just my opinion. I don't think it's a conflict. If you were like the director of something and Measure 110 funds was funding you, then you would have a conflict. But you're not getting any administration or anything as a result of NARA getting, because then everyone on the whole committee or
I
the
know.
council have to say, because I think every one of them lives within the county that's receiving money.
Right.
Unless they're actually getting money from that Pacific, then everyone would have to say they couldn't vote on anything.
I would just
that's
encourage
just my
folks to,
opinion. Yeah,
I would just encourage folks to stick with the advice of the Ethics Commission, depending on what they determine for each situation.
I didn't talk to anybody beforehand. We as an organization do get some Measure 110 money. But like Caroline said, it's not directly funding me. I can make sure that none of the money actually comes to me, but could it come to the agency to help us serve people? That's where I'm just trying to, figure it out.
I understand, Jackie, and I would just encourage you to do what makes you the most comfortable. And it looks like Allison Wu, you have your hand up.
Yep, totally agree with you, Jessica. I think that it's a personal choice what people are comfortable with, and if they have questions about what applies in their particular situation, just encourage people to call the Ethics Commission or email them, and we can provide the contact information if you don't have that already.
Yeah, it'd be great
Thank
if you
you.
did again. Thank you. I seem to always have questions about everything.
That's okay. I often have questions about a lot of things too, Jackie, so you're not alone in that. All right, so with that, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I want to offer to oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Dharma. That's really appreciated. So you all were sent a letter from our tribal affairs regarding the tribal consultation that we had with the tribes, and they have requested to have the tribal set aside stay at $11.4 million as the base fund, and or 4%, whichever is higher, essentially. So they are asking for the tribal set aside not to change. I'm just remembering that this is distributed among 9 tribes and sometimes the Urban Indian Health program. Oh, Nisha.
I was just hoping to make a motion so we can vote.
Well, I do have a motion slide that we can share if you'd like to make this motion, Onisha.
Yes. I make this proposed motion. I move to set aside 11.4 million or 4% of total funds available, whichever is greater, to be allocated to tribes through extending their current Measure 110 grant agreements.
I second this motion.
Okay.
Okay, everybody seconded it. I think we'll just, okay, second by Morgan. And Ron, were you raising your hand to second it? Okay. Is there any discussion? Julie.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I just want to thank you for all of your continued hard work on this. My name is Julie Johnson. I'm the Tribal Affairs Director for OHA, so I sent you all the letter. I wanted to clarify something because the motion did not include the additional ask of if there is additional funding on top of this amount, the tribes would be interested. They're doing amazing work in the community with the Measure 110 funds, increasing access to care, street outreach, serving homeless community populations. The list goes on. And so I just wanted to make sure that that was part of the ask as well. And I didn't see that in the proposed motion language. So again, I just really appreciate you all and all your hard work. And I'll leave it at that. Thanks.
Thank you, Julie. Onisha.
So do I need to re-say the motion to include the part that she just said? Or was that included with the percentage or whichever is greater after the final amounts come out?
I think we attempted to include that with that language, but I want to make sure that Julie is comfortable with the language that we're using in the motion. So Julie.
And I'm hoping that we get to the vote and we still have quorum too, because I have to hop off early, so.
That's fair.
So tell me what I need to do. Do I need to oh, Lakeisha got her hand up.
Keisha.
I don't know if you gotta restate the motion or not. I was just on the discussion part. I was just wondering because everybody had to take a a lot of people had to take a 25% dive. So I'm just wondering, would there be money left over? And what about the people that had to take a deduction and are not staying at their current funding?
Yeah, so
I think
Keisha, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was thinking that it was my understanding that because they have such a wide service area, the 9 federally recognized tribes are serving such a wide swath of folks that they weren't being considered for the reduction. Although the other burns are, because it represents different areas, the state.
And I just really quickly wanted to say nobody was asked to take a specific 25% reduction. Folks were asked to keep, all of the burn providers were instructed to provide budgets that would keep services at the level that they were being provided, right? And they provided budgets that largely did not represent a 25% cut. Morgan?
Oh, just how we set sort of baseline for counties, even, very rural counties with low populations, that 11.4 million, whatever it was, baseline or 4%, whichever is greater. I do believe that would include the 4%, if the 4% is greater, to reallocate surplus funding. So I do believe that that language sufficiently covers the concern here. And I think we could move ahead with a vote.
Okay. Thanks, Morgan. Caroline.
So I just want to go back when we had this original discussion, when we were allocating the funds, and at that time, Steve Allen had recommended 20%. And I felt at that time that that was unrealistic, but that was a recommendation. And so then we even went as high as 8% and then 6%. I compromised for 4%, understanding the tribes and our urban area. And so I don't want us to be stuck at 4%. So I'm in agreement because Julie Johnson, the way she said it is because during our tribal consultation, I think what we had said was that we were going to retain the 11.4 that was allocated. And if there's any additional funds that we would be taken in consideration. So I would eliminate that 4% because it's no longer 4%. I mean, if you do the math, it's probably closer to 8 or 9 now. And so I think we need to drop that 4%, and we need to say a motion like that the tribes would, the recommendation is to retain the 11.4 million. And if there's some additional funds in the future, that the tribes and the urban area will be taken into consideration. The chances are we're never going to go above the 11.4 because there's not going to be any more additional money. But who knows? Something might fall from the sky, and all of a sudden we get all this extra revenue. And the tries, we could have recommended a higher, but you know, it just so happened that it came out to 4%. So does that make sense?
That makes sense,
Remember?
Caroline. Sydney or Carly, can you type that into the chat and we can amend that motion? Ron, just want to do a quick time check. We're at 11:51.
No, I'm good. I was just doing the math on around kind of what Caroline was saying. And I'm good. We can move on.
Thanks, Ron. Morgan, I thought I saw your hand up before, Dharma.
Yeah, I just, with what Caroline just said, I'm just not sure if we write in the motion 11.4 million, what would trigger a reanalysis for the additional funds? I'm not sure what the trigger mechanism would be. I'm not sure that makes sense.
If you take away the 4%, yeah, there is no, nothing to compare the 11.4 or whichever is greater.
Right.
You need something to put there.
Yeah.
Is it a specific number that they're wanting, Caroline or Julie, or is there a specific, like, do they want another tribal consult if there's additional funds?
Right, it was the current amount, which I believe is 11.4 or more if it becomes available.
It's just the or more part, right? I just want to be specific to make sure we're including that for y'all in the motion. Is there an actual amount, or is there just a certain process that we should initiate after it goes higher than that?
I think that would need to be figured out because, as Caroline said, budgets go up and down all the time. So
it's just hard because we're using an absolute number for the 11.4, so it's not relative to any increase in our larger pot. So we're using an absolute number, but then trying to attach it to a relative increase. That's why we're having a confusion here.
Yeah, because if we got more money in the overall largest pot, then 4% would be more than 11.4 million. But with nothing to put in place of the 4% that was concrete, it just, I don't know.
So yeah, I totally get what you all are saying, and that makes complete sense. I don't know your process, if you can vote on the current proposal and then knowing moving forward, if there was additional money to come, you could vote again.
What is the current proposal that we want to vote to give them 11.4% for the set aside and maybe more if more money becomes available? Is that the current proposal?
Yes.
Okay. And there is no deciding factor, just if more money becomes available.
Correct.
Okay, so can we get that typed into the chat, please? OHA. Ron?
No, that was it. I was just going to say what Onisha just said, which was that if funds become available, the council then could, I'm not saying shall, could use its process to make those funds available for the tribes.
Thank you. And are we getting that typed in so it can be restated?
Yes, just 1 second, please.
That's okay, Caroline?
So I just want to make sure, you know, the reason why I wanted the 4% to be eliminated, because it would go back. I mean, I'm not even sure what our balance is anymore. Because the last meeting, we were adding some additional dollars and the projected revenue was a little bit higher than what was projected when it was brought to us, I don't know, 2 months ago. And so I don't want us to get stuck on the 4% because 4% would be more like 6 million. So
right. So of the 11.4, of the 177 million that we were told in our last meeting, it would be closer. It represents about 7%.
Yeah. And so I just think talking, being with the tribal consultation group is the fact that they were just kind of like, oh my goodness, we thought this was going to happen. And at the time when we had the tribal consultation, marijuana revenue seemed like the way to go was not going to ever go down. And it did. And so that was one of the fears of the tribe. If they start up with this program, was it going to be removed? And that was a fear, and I know it's a fear of many people within the state. But a lot of what we determined, I thought in some of our discussion, was the fact that a lot of the things that were going to be looked at as part of the reduction is the fact that a lot of programs put a lot of their dollars into capital in terms of building. And a lot of the tribes didn't do that. What they did was try to establish programs because they were not included in the past because they were not a county. And so the mental health authority, community mental health providers, is pretty well written into the statute and organ administration rule in terms of that every county is supposed to have a community mental health provider or organ health authority. And out of the 9 tribes, only one tribe, which happens to be Warm Springs, because I initiated that in the late 70s to become a mental health provider, and all the other tribes didn't. So most of the tribes are starting from the ground up and establishing something that's similar to everyone else in terms of having a community mental health provider program. So this is all pretty well. Some programs in the tribes are a little bit further ahead. NARA has been connected with us connected with the state for a number of years, but a lot of the tribes, this is all startup. And so they really had a fear that if they didn't at least maintain what they currently had, that they were going to go backwards. So this is the reason why in a tribal consultation is the fact that they just wanted to at least see if they could maintain what they have and have some guarantee that's going to happen. And then the discussion was, however, if for some reason, like I said, money drops from the sky, everyone starts to bring in more revenue, that they want to be part of that discussion in the future. So this is the reason why I don't want to be stuck with that 4% in the language, but I think we already justified that. But I just want to give you some background in terms of why we want it stated in that way. And I don't know what Sydney, what was written anymore.
Caroline, we have a slide. We've updated our slide. We're going to put it up on the screen. And I don't see any more hands. So we'd like to get to this vote while we still have enough folks to vote. Onisha, do you want to restate this?
Did Onisha leave?
Yeah, she said in the chat she was leaving.
All right, I'll do it.
Yeah, she had to go.
Yeah, I would like to propose a motion. I move to set aside 11.4 million of total funds to be allocated to the tribes through extending their current Measure 110 grant agreements. If more funds become available, the council could make more funds available to the tribes.
All right, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Hubert seconds it. All right, I think we can take that down. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, throwing it over to Sydney for the vote.
All right, the motion was seconded. Amy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Carlos?
Yes.
Thank you. Caroline?
Yes.
Thank you. Dharma?
Yes.
Thank you. Hubert?
Yes.
Thank you. Hunter?
Yes.
Thank you. Jackie, you declared a potential conflict. Would you still like to vote?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Keisha?
Yes.
Thank you. Leticia?
Yes.
Thank you. Linda?
Yes.
Thank you. Melinda, are you still here?
Yes.
Perfect. Morgan?
Yes.
Nicole? Is Nicole left? Okay.
I don't see
Anisha
her.
left. Ron?
Yes.
Thank you. Ryan?
Yes.
Thank you. And Zeb?
Yes.
Thank you. And just going back to Nicole real quick.
I don't see her here
She
anymore.
left. Okay, we're good. That passes with, passes with 14, and Jackie didn't vote, and we have our non-voting member present, so we are good.
All right, yay. Okay, thank you, council. Thank you, Julie, for joining us and helping us get that right. And thank you, Caroline and Jackie. Dharma.
I think we ought to just jump right into the next vote then, while we still have quorum. I'm gonna pass it off to you folks for another call for conflicts of interest.
All right, we're about to engage in a conversation about Klamath County. If you would like to declare an actual or potential conflict for Klamath County, please do so, stating whether it is a potential or actual and indicating the nature of the conflict. Seeing no hands, I'm going to pass it over to Kristen for the presentation.
Thanks, Jessica. I think we have a few slides that Carly might be able to pop up. But we are talking today about how to fill the supported employment gap in the Klamath County burn. Next slide.
Give me 1 second, it's not cooperating.
No worries.
Are you saying technology does not always work perfectly every time?
It only works when you're live on YouTube.
Right.
All right, are we able to? There we go. All right. So we have 5 providers in Klamath County, but none that were previously or originally approved to provide supported employment services. So we approached Klamath County, all 5 partners, and said, put together, whoever wants to put together a plan, and a budget, and we'll bring that forward to the council. So 2 of the 5 providers submitted proposals. They are Max's Mission and the Stronghold. Max's Mission requested a little over $130,000 to provide supported employment services for the remaining 6 months of this current grant cycle. The Stronghold requested almost $138,000 to provide services for the remaining 6 months, for a total request in Klamath of $267,783. We will be asking for 18-month budgets for the grant extension periods after y'all's approval of adding these 2 providers to the service area to these 2 providers. Next slide. So Max's Mission is proposing to hire 2 new employees, a peer coordinator and a program admin. They're also proposing to purchase a vehicle. I don't know if any of y'all have been to Klamath County, but it is very large and very spread out, and travel is needed to reach clients in across the county. They've also requested some funds for additional office space to provide the supported employment services out of. So they're requesting costs associated with rent and utilities. Next slide. The Stronghold also applied to provide supported employment services. They are proposing to hire 2 employees, 1 full-time peer and 1 part-time peer to provide these services. They're also requesting funds to purchase a vehicle. The Stronghold is located outside of Klamath Falls, and Klamath Falls offers the most employment opportunities, so a vehicle will help reduce barriers to provide transportation for clients. The Stronghold is also proposing to spend funds on clothing vouchers and some other costs associated with securing employment. Next slide. So here is proposed motion, but happy to answer any questions to the best of my ability.
I just really quickly want to remind members that you have the budgets and the narratives in your inbox, and hopefully look those over before today's vote.
I would move to amend the grant agreements for Max's mission in the Stronghold to add the funds and services proposed.
Okay, we have a motion.
I
Second that
it.
motion.
Let's go with Hubert this time. I don't know, it's so hard to tell. Okay, so we have a motion from Dharma, a second from Hubert this time. Any discussion? Hearing none, it sounds like it's time to vote.
Thank you. The motion has been seconded. Amy, how do you vote?
Yes. Sorry, I couldn't take my mute off. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Carlos?
Yes.
Thank you. Caroline?
Yes.
Thank you. Dharma?
Yes.
Thank you. Hubert?
Yes.
Thank you. Hunter?
Yes.
Thank you. Jackie?
Yes.
Thank you. Keisha?
Yes.
Thank you. Leticia?
Yes.
Thank you. Linda?
Yes.
Thank you. Melinda?
Yes.
Thank you. Morgan?
Yes.
Thank you. Nicole, did you make it back?
I saw her come back. Let me look. She's here.
That's okay. I'll come back. Ron?
There we go. Sorry.
Oh, there
Yes.
she is.
Yes. The answer is yes. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Thanks, Nicole. Onisha has left. Ron?
Yes.
Thank you. Ryan?
Yes.
Thank you. And Zeb?
Yes.
Thank you. That passes with 16 yes votes. To you guys.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody. We got those votes out of the way. All very important. Next on our agenda. Oh, Dharma, you're here. I'm sorry. I thought you had to jump onto your phone. I wanted to make sure I was helping you out. Go ahead.
No, thanks. Good job, folks. Good to see those services reinstated or starting to get those passed for that county now. So we're gonna pass it back to Jessica to give us some OHA updates.
Yeah, I have several updates for you all. So I'm just gonna start from the top. In the last meeting, a council member asked for a breakdown of the OHA admin budget. And so we are currently preparing that. We don't have that for you today, but we will. I just wanted to let you know that we haven't forgot. We're just working on that. No questions. Okay. The next update I have is another kind of we're working on it update. It's for the phone line. We are currently in negotiations with a phone line contractor. And as soon as those negotiations are complete, we will be reporting back to the council on the agreed upon contract and contractor and all that good stuff. So we will be reporting back to you once that is complete. We have an equipment update that I think the fantastic Sydney McConnell is going to give.
Hey everyone. I do have an equipment update. As Jessica said earlier, we are taking the process back over from the business office. So your team, either me or Carly, will be reaching out to you to either set up time or confirm your address to get the equipment to you. And kind of because everyone's at different stages in the process. So we'll be reaching out potentially tomorrow, probably the beginning of next week, to get all of you situated and get your equipment to you. So And thank you, Ron, for working with the business office, getting your equipment. Would you say the process went smoothly?
I would not.
Okay, that's why we're taking it. So we will take it from here and
No,
hopefully get it.
once it got going, things moved ahead. And then once I connected with the person and we went on Zoom, everything got connected like in 1.5 hour meeting. And so that part went fine.
Okay, good deal. And that's what we're hoping we can take care of for everybody. We have a little bit more flexibility, so we'll be reaching out to you. And thank you in advance for your patience if we don't have all the details of what you've done so far, but we're going to work to get everyone all on the same page and moving forward. Back to you, Jessica.
Thank you. And I know that there were some real shipping issues for a lot of folks that I think maybe Ron also encountered, which really makes the process not smooth. So totally understand that. And I just want to give everybody a quick reminder, you have to log on or you get locked out. So log on, once a week when you join your meetings and you read your emails, and you shouldn't get locked out as long as you can remember your password. So awesome. Thank you so much, Sydney. Next is our media subcommittee is happening next week. Super excited for that. We are putting together a report out from our communications department to really look at what OHA is doing to get the word out about all of the good things that are going on with Measure 110 and the burn services. And that'll just be a place for us to hear suggestions, hear ideas, bring those back to whomever they need to be brought back to, work on some council talking points, all things media related. So really looking forward to that. And if you haven't already responded to the invite and you still want to be a part of that, please do let Sydney and Carly know, and we will get you added. Was there? Okay. Next is the tri-chair election is again happening on August 9th. I think we already have one person who's interested, Carlos. Thank you. So please just think about whether that's something that you'd be interested in doing and have the availability to do. It's a great opportunity to really shape the agenda but it is also it can be quite a time commitment. So Ron Williams.
No, I was just going to add to what your description of tri-chairs is that one of the important factors of it is the meetings with OHA and hearing from OHA kind of what's happening in the background and getting the full skinny on, what's happening and what's in front of us and how things are progressing. So that relationship with OHA is one of the things that really kind of enhances your experience as a member of the council when you're a tri-chair.
Yeah. I love building those relationships. Absolutely. Anybody else? All right.
Me.
Sorry.
I raised my hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't see it. I apologize.
That's
Carla?
okay. There's a lot of windows.
There are a lot of windows.
I wanted to ask, what are the time commitments? I know that it's Wednesdays, it's Fridays, I think I've heard, as far as for tri-chair.
Yeah, so we can outline all of that to you in an email. The tri-chairs now meet every Tuesday that there is a meeting, So they met yesterday. They used to meet every Tuesday, but because we do meetings the second and fourth Wednesday, those meetings are usually just to kind of finalize the agenda. If there's anything last minute. They meet every Friday. And additionally, the time commitment varies depending on what's going on. There could be several phone calls, emails, texts. Additionally, tri-chairs sign grant agreements and grant amendments. So there's going to probably be a lot of those coming through in the next tri-chair what would I even call that? For the next tri-chair, there's gonna be a lot of like
Yeah,
docu.
amended approvals, amended,
Yeah.
signing.
Probably
amended
an email would
contract.
be good.
Yeah, no, I know, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get an email out and we can send that to everybody just to give you some general ideas. But again, you know, everything is very fluid and it could change and it could be more, it could be less. It's just dependent on the wave of work that is happening.
Okay, yeah, I just asked because I work as a full-time counselor and, you know. And then I also wanted to, in case y'all don't know, there's now healthcare for everyone in Oregon, regardless of immigration status. So, I mean, you still have to have income requirements, but yeah. Okay.
No, thank you. That's super important, Carlos. Thank you. And the last update that I have is our in-person gathering. We're going to get to see each other again, all in person. I'm super excited about it. We are finalizing the date and we will be getting an email out to you either today or tomorrow regarding that. Date, time, place, all of that good information. Folks that do need to travel, we're gonna a significant distance, we'll talk to you. I think we have some new members. For the folks who were here last time we did it, you should know the drill, but we can remind you. And for those folks who are newer, we will connect with you and support you in getting that travel. So look out for that email. I think it's really exciting, especially if we can all make it. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Any questions? All right, I'm going to send it back to Dharma.
All right, well, unless there's anything else that anyone else needs to discuss, I think we can give you all an hour and 12 minutes back of your day. The day of the in-person meeting, we're not talking about it yet, so we're just going to send it out in a digital communication and just try to keep that amongst the council members.
All right. I think Caroline wants to stay for the entire time. She does not look excited at all to be done already. I'm just kidding. All right. Oh, look at the floof. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Dharma.